Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. We are very happy to welcome you to our show titled Speak of Africa. As usual, we have a whole lot of news for you. Africa is a really complicated continent. Most people don't really understand what is happening in Africa. Sometimes they behave like, why is this happening? But there is rhyme and reason to whatever is happening in Africa. We give you the story behind the news. And we're going to do the same thing today. For the news of this week, we're going to focus on critical minerals. The new economy, there is a scramble for critical minerals to power the new global economy. Every nation is fighting for its interests. America is fighting for its interests. China is fighting for its interests. Russia, same. Why are Africans not fighting for African interests? That's the challenge of the show of today, which is why we say Africa needs a total makeover. These people we call politicians are not fighting for Africa's interests. So we need to get rid, we need to flush them out because they're not fighting for Africa's interests. Other countries are putting people in place to champion their interests, to do what is good for their countries. We only have Africa where the people are conniving with foreigners, foreign agents, to impoverish Africa, to steal Africa's resources. This is where we are. Supply chain economics is something our leaders do not understand. How do you respond to the needs of the new marketplace? Other countries like the United States, China are fighting to make sure that they can position their economy to win in this new race for supremacy in the world. What are Africans doing? Well, Africans are still marking time, selling their countries for short. Corruption is not helping us. And we're going to do this by starting with Burkina Faso. In Burkina Faso, we have a new leader, Ibrahim Traoré. His people love him, but he also has detractors. We also have some of those journalists who have been bought by foreign powers. When you look at the big media houses, you see journalists reporting negatively on African leaders who are trying to change their country, like Ibrahim Traoré. What are they doing? They have been paid by foreign organs. By contrast, we are independent. No foreign organ has paid us, so we can tell the truth. Why is it that this week a lot of foreign journalists and the journalists in Burkina Faso are complaining? They said the junta has banned the organization of journalists in that country, so they don't want them to express themselves. How true is this? Well, you can look at it with a pinch of salt. Is it true that the junta is clamming on media rights? Well, the junta is saying these media have been bought by foreign agents, so they tend to sell negative stories about the country. They tend to derail the revolution that is in process. That's the problem Ibrahim Traoré is telling us. Then this week also, we saw that the soldiers in Burkina Faso arrested, I think, 3 soldiers from Ivory Coast. We don't know what is going to happen. This matter is still evolving, but we hope it can be resolved peacefully. Then talking about looting resources, Africa, where are the resources going? Congo DRC is in trouble. Chaotic crisis. One chaotic crisis after another. That is what is happening in Congo DRC. For many weeks, we've been telling you about the M23 incursion into big towns like Goma and Bukavu in Congo DRC, in the east. What is really happening? In a world where most economies are fighting for critical minerals, Africans are also joining, trying to fight to gain hold of a lot of minerals. So people are scrambling for resources. That's what is really happening in Congo DRC. When they talk about the M23, you may think that the M23 are not really Congolese. But we realize that most of these Tutsis, when you look at the history of the Congo, they are Congolese. Look at someone like Corneille Nangaa. He was in charge of the electoral college in Congo DRC. When Felix signed a Faustian deal with Joseph Kabila, of course, all of you guys know that Joseph Kabila was a tool of Rwanda. So when you look at this, all these guys are agents. So when you look at Congo DRC, the problem there is the fight for resources. Many of you are asking me, Prince Ojong, what is really happening in the Congo? Why is the M23 making an incursion into Congo DRC? They are fighting for resources. People are not even happy with Felix Tshisekedi because they feel he's an illegitimate president. Even when he won re-election, this re-election was fake. It was a facade. It was not real. Corneille Nangaa does not even think Felix Tshisekedi is a real president. So he doesn't respect him and he wants to brush him aside. That's the reality on the ground. But Qatar asked Paul Kagame and Felix Tshisekedi to meet in Doha so that they can talk peace. Will peace silence the guns? That's what the people are hoping. At least with the end of Ramadan and Lent, people are hoping that we should be able to have some peace. People should be able to live in peace. There are a lot of refugees. The refugees are suffering, and we feel for them, and we pray that they should really have some peace. But the people also are talking a lot about Uganda. Uganda is playing a double game. Uganda is a silent player. Most people are not talking about Uganda. But under Yoweri Museveni, Uganda is exploiting this conflict in the Congo more than any other country. Remember, Yoweri Museveni is the godfather of Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame fought in the Bush War in Uganda before he left and returned to Rwanda to start the revolution over there. So he is just like the boy of Yoweri Museveni. So they have a very good entente. Some people are even saying it is because Uganda is exploiting Congo DRC that Kagame decided to also launch his own fight and sponsor the M23. But Yoweri Museveni is keeping silent. He tells you, oh, he wants to fight the Islamic movement that is in his side of the border with Congo. But really, he's there fighting for gold. There's a boom in the trade of gold in this part of the country. And who is benefiting? Yoweri Museveni, his family, and cronies. They are the ones benefiting. Which is why you see that the war will continue. What most people are not understanding is what is fueling this conflict is the scramble for resources. If you take these resources away, there will be peace in this part of the world. Okay? Next, we'll take you to Ethiopia. In Ethiopia too, you have scramble for resources. Initially, the government of Abiy Ahmed was friendly with Eritrea. When Tigray started a war with Abiy Ahmed, Eritrea supported Abiy Ahmed. Now, Eritrea and Ethiopia are at loggerheads. What is happening? It is scramble for resources. In economics, we say resources are limited, so we have to use them rationally. In a world where we have a finite amount of resources, we have to learn how to rationalize their use. Then what about Gabon? Well, Gabon also is a country where the strong man who deposed Ali Bongo wants to run as president. He's already orchestrated the dance. The music is there. He has a party, the rally of builders, Rassemblement des Bâtisseurs. These people who are building the new country. So that's the message he is giving. We are people who can do. So now, Ali Bongo remains under house arrest. His wife and son are still in prison. What is going to happen? Well, in April 12th, this guy is going to win election as the new president. So that's the sad part of African democracy, which is why the people don't believe in democracy. Because is Brice Oligui Clotaire Nguema democratically elected? He wants to give that facade that he was elected democratically. But all of us know that he forced his hand. Why did he not hand power to Ondo, the guy who actually won the election when Ali Bongo declared a victory prematurely? Because he wanted to steal from the country. This is his turn. He will become president. He will take this time to steal as much as he can and challenge him. Maybe one of the guys in the military will try to depose him. That's what is going to happen in Gabon. So let's look towards April 12th. Then what about Guinea? In Guinea, we've also had a scramble for resources. You have Musa Dadis Camara. You guys know this name. 2008, 2009, he was the president of Guinea. He staged a coup d'etat after the death of Lansana Conte and became president of Guinea. In a stadium, a lot of people were killed. Women were raped, over 150. He ran out of the country when his aide-de-camp shot him. He returned, he was jailed, he went through a trial process. The international community was happy, thinking that, okay, for the first time, most of the victims are going to have a fair hearing. But today, people woke up with a lot of surprise. They were surprised because Mama Doumbouya decided to release Dadis Camara from jail. He's a free man now. He's been pardoned. Oh, Africa, Africa. Then what about La République du Cameroon? Well, La République du Cameroon too is another example where there's a scramble for resources. Paul Biya, the aged guy who is over 92 years old, is still around. His entourage is keeping him afloat. People know that at the age of 92, this guy cannot do much. But he has been able to cultivate a very big entourage that wants to keep him in power because of self-preservation. Elections are coming up on October 2025, but most of the people have been sidelined already. Maurice Kamto, the hope of a lot of the opposition, has been sidelined. So you don't really have any viable opposition, because in Cameroon, you have a machinery that makes sure that everything is programmed so that Paul Biya can win the elections easily. That's how the system is set up. It's a whole edifice, well built. You have components. Start with Elecam, Constitutional Council. This is all done. Then what about the fate of Ferdinand Gongo? Well, in the last meeting of the party, it looks like Paul Biya decided to sideline Ferdinand Gongo. So people are thinking that, well, it looks like Ferdinand Gongo, in the end, may not really be the Le Dauphin de Paul Biya, the choice for the guy who will replace Paul Biya. So this is like tough for most of the friends of Ferdinand Gongo. They have been hoping that he's going to take over. Even before becoming president, this dude has already stolen, has amassed so much wealth in La République Cameroon. When you look at it, so even if he doesn't become president, he has already stolen a whole lot of money. The people are the ones suffering. A few days ago, there was a meeting of Biya in Mvumeka, and people were already wondering, oh, what's happening? Are they going to depose Paul Biya in this meeting? We doubt it. Even though Paul Biya is old, he's in his own village, we don't think anybody will be powerful enough to depose him in his own village. So we think he will continue running, except somebody in the military will strike. And we think there are people there who are ready to strike. They're just playing for time. They're trying to choose the best moment to strike, because Paul Biya is feeble. So all those handlers are just trying to hold on to power. But something like a cake will explode, poop, and that will be the end.
At AUK Tax Service, we understand taxes can be overwhelming. That's why we've been serving taxpayers and tax preparers nationwide since 1986. Why wait for your money? We guarantee fair and accurate tax returns with experienced professionals you can trust. We offer a range of services, including accounting, bookkeeping, and recording, payroll, insurance, and real estate, corporate and individual income tax preparation, tax planning and preparation. Are you a tax preparer or entrepreneur looking to boost your income? Partner with AUK Tax Service for a free, fast, and easy way to grow your business. AUK Tax Service is the ideal partner for check cashing stores, travel agencies, realtors, loan officers, and grocery stores. Facing IRS tax problems? Let AUK Tax Service provide expert assistance to resolve any issues quickly and efficiently. With over 3 decades of experience, AUK Tax Service has been trusted by clients nationwide. We are committed to delivering exceptional service and ensuring bigger refunds. We make tax preparation seamless for businesses like yours. Don't wait, get your fair share with AUK Tax Service. Contact us today and let us handle your taxes with care. Learn more at www.autax.com. Visit one of our convenient office locations or call us today. Our offices are located in Maryland and Virginia. AUK Tax Service. Bigger refunds. Better service.
Then what about Niger? In Niger also, Niger is one of those countries, Alliance des États du Sahel. General Abdurrahman Tiani has declared that he's going to run the country during a transition of 5 years. So ECOWAS is the big loser. ECOWAS did not even want him to stay there for 3 years. Now he has said he's going to stay for 5. What's ECOWAS going to do about it? Nothing. ECOWAS is a powerless bulldog. Okay? Then we take you to Nigeria. In Nigeria, we also have a country where there's the scramble for resources, critical minerals. Nigeria has mostly oil, but there's a scramble for this resource. Among the politicians, they try to siphon this wealth, so the people don't really benefit. And it's a big struggle. This week, you see Aliko Dangote everywhere in most of the newspapers, talking about his new refinery, his forays into the cement business in Nigeria and other African countries. Yet, the people want to challenge him because the old boys network, the mafia in Nigeria, they have been benefiting from this oil wealth so much. So by refining oil in Nigeria and not taking this oil to foreign countries, this would eat into their profit. So it's a delicate dance. Aliko Dangote has to know how to calibrate, then dance in appropriate manner with the other guys. So it's like a cabal. They have to try to work a truce and try to say, you eat, I eat, I eat, you eat. Yet, the insecurity problem remains because the wealth does not trickle down. The big politicians keep enjoying the wealth, but the poor people are not really benefiting. Then you hear the stories, like we told you last week about Natasha Putit of Kogi versus Akpabio. But you see, these guys are politicians with links to Bola Tinubu. So nothing can really happen to Akpabio because he's supported by the president. Then you ask me, where's democracy? Which is why the people are disillusioned. There is no democracy. The beautiful ones are not yet born in Nigeria. Maybe they will be born soon. But for now, they're all ugly. The beautiful ones are not yet born. Then we'll take you to South Africa. In South Africa, Julius Malema is challenging Elon Musk. Elon Musk is like a guy who wants to throw the sand in South Africa. He left South Africa, came to America. He has used his money to try to win favor with the Trump administration. And now he's trying to insert himself into the conflict between South Africa and the United States. The white farmers have been enjoying a monopoly from the land they stole from black people many, many years ago. Now the law is trying to change things so that black people can be compensated, can get at least part of their land back. Elon Musk doesn't want that to happen. So he's using his immense wealth. He's the richest person in the world, so that Africans should be disenfranchised. This guy is rich, but he doesn't care about South Africans. Even his own father is saying, oh, my son is not a racist, but if you don't like Africans, you don't like black people, what are you? You are a racist. Julius Malema is voicing his displeasure with Elon Musk. Cyril Ramaphosa is also voicing his displeasure with Elon Musk. But who is listening? At least we're happy when people try to take on these bigots. Because South Africa is a sovereign nation. They can do without America. Similarly, the lady who has become the president of Namibia, we need to make America learn to respect Africa too. So it's very, very important. Then we look at South Sudan.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Royal treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland. Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
South Sudan also has a lot of problems. Salva Kiir, the president of South Sudan, just sent his thugs to go and arrest the vice president, Riek Machar. If people thought peace is going to return to South Sudan, the newest African country, this is a mirage. There's no peace. So the conflict will continue. So we are always having this conflict because of the fight for resources. Resources are limited, but Africans are fighting for these resources. Then, of course, things are complicated because we have international players who are dividing Africans. They play one side against the other, and that's what they do, to curry favor and steal the resources. Africa has become a killing field because these merchants of death are exploiting the resources to their own benefit. What about the African people? That's the question on a lot of minds. The African people are left with nothing. So it's a new day that we hope will come to really change the fate of the average African. Sudan is still being torn apart by war. This week, we understand that the army of El Behan was able to recapture the presidential palace and the airport. The RSF paramilitary has been weakened, and they said they are very, very brutal. But is this conflict going to end in peace? We don't really think so, because the two sides need to sit and think about the interests of the people. So when we look at a lot of the crises, the chaotic crisis in Africa, we have to start asking ourselves, so what's the way forward? Because that's the question that most of you have been asking me. So you tell me, we have a lot of ideas, but I think you also have ideas. What can we do to resolve a lot of the chaotic crises in Africa? From the show I've presented to you, I'm not taking sides. I'm not a guy who has been paid by foreign journalists to demonize Africans. I'm an independent. So you, the viewer, I'm asking you, what do you think? What's the way out for Africa? We're in a dilemma. We cannot develop because we don't have peace. We have so many chaos. What can we do to resolve this problem? What are your ideas? Share these ideas with us. We want to know. Use the comment section to tell us what you think. How can Africa resolve its dependence on Western forces? Why does Africa allow foreigners to steal resources? Why are other Africans, like the example of Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, why is he stealing the resources of Congo DRC, the gold, to sell in the international market, and people behave as if it's okay? It's not okay. So we need to start clamoring, just like what young Showere is doing in Nigeria. We need to start saying, this is not okay. When something is not good, we need to verbalize this so that people know that what is happening in Africa is unacceptable. The people need to start rising. And we encourage those who are rising, just the way the Kenyan youth rose a few months ago. We are asking the Nigerian youth to rise again the way they did at Lekki. They are killing them, but they need to rise to hold these politicians accountable. We should stop electing politicians who are not accountable to us. And that's the problem of Africa's democracy. Democracy is not working in Africa because these people manipulate. They do things because they have the army or they have money to buy arms. They do whatever they want, and they don't care about what the people have to say. But the people have to say, yes, enough is enough. We have to start the people's revolution, which is what we are telling you. This show, Speak of Africa, is a metaphor intended to create a framework for metaphysical rebellion. Metaphysical rebellion is designed to deal with a guy who has an existentialist outlook. Albert Camus taught me existentialist philosophy. This is a situation where you start rebelling against existence. To exist or not to exist, that's the question. Whether it's noble in the mind to wear the pangs of suffering, or you take action to stop this suffering. That's the question we put in front of our fellow Africans. Are you ready to do something to save the continent? So many people are giving up already on Africa. But why should you give up on your continent? Change. We need to make change happen in our country, in our continent. When you look at what is happening in other countries, those things do not just happen by chance. The young people in those countries did things to change their country. We cannot continue allowing old people to keep us in check forever. The young people who are in the army, we are asking you to rebel against your masters. Rebel against these old folks. Rebel against this old cabal that is stealing the wealth of Africa. Thank you very much.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.